What's up, everyone? Welcome to the Tell Me More podcast presented by Major League Success. I have Shelley Cottrell with me. Shelley, thanks so much for coming on. You're with Corcoran Global Living, correct?
That's correct. Thank you for having me.
So I'm excited. We've interacted, I don't know, maybe a handful of times on social media, but this is really the first time that we're actually talking to one another. So I'm excited to have you on, and I've been obviously following you and through social media, for a couple years now, and I'm just excited to have you on and share your story.
I am really excited to be here. I feel honored. I feel like I made a new friend.
Hey, that's what we're trying to do.
It's a relationship business, right?
Well, and that's what this podcast is all about is, sharing your story, right? To let other people know that get into this business, that there is, thousands of ways to find success. There's not just one way. And one of my passions is helping new agents who are getting into the business, because I believe that our industry is flawed. I think it's broken on how we bring people into this business. And I just want to kind of have stories out there to just show people like, hey, there's going to be twists and turns and everything else in between. But at the end, there are different ways to be successful. And I always got tired of always hearing top listing agent, top prospect, top, mailer, whatever it is. And it was just like, it's the same thing, right?
Yeah.
So Shelley, thanks so much for coming on. We always start with the beginning and growing up. What was life like growing up?
So I grew up in Pickerington, otherwise known as Picktown, and grew up in the 80s, best times, right? Best music too, by the way. So Pickerington, man, I tell you, they and it's tussing, it's not tussing. All right, but some people.
What else do we need to know? What else?
So, it was just really cornfield. It was farm town. I grew up in a very small little house in Pickerington, and it was just really different. The high school, for instance, we had a smoke area. Like, you were actually allowed to smoke. There was a designated area for smoking. That's how different it was back then. Isn't that crazy?
I forget, speaking of that, which is off subject already, on subject to this, but also, I always forget that there used to be smoking sections in restaurants.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So wild.
I know. It's kind of different when you travel and you see places that still have that.
Right.
Different. But yeah, so but when I grew up, back in the 80s and stuff, I didn't grow up around real estate. Matter of fact, I didn't even I wasn't into sports. I wasn't an athlete, which is really ironic because I have a daughter who became a very competitive swimmer and only was 3 spots from making the Olympic team in the 100 breaststroke. So, but I can't even dive in the water. I hope I do. But so yeah, no sports. Really, just grew up being outside, and we had to be home when the lights came on. The security light that we had in the driveway. That's when we had to be home. But so I went to the Pickerington High School, but then I went to Eastland Career Center my junior and senior year. I decided to go there. I thought that it was better for me to have the vocational training. And that's actually where I met Steve, my other half. We met in high school, and we dated in high school, but then after graduation, we went our different ways, and we didn't see each other for actually 26 years until 2013.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. Now, going to the vocational school, were you going for certain subjects?
Yeah, the class was called word process. Well, it was a communication specialist, and it was word processing. It was office related.
Yeah.
Okay. And then in your senior year, you have early placement where they get a job. You have a job, and they communicate with your manager, and you actually get graded. So that's your grade on your report card.
That's awesome.
I know, right? So the advantage was you really have. Or you already have experience when you graduate.
Yeah.
In the field.
And I guess, did you go that route just because like subjects within school they weren't really your thing, or was it just something different?
I just think home life was different back
Yeah.
then. It wasn't, college really wasn't, uh, I wasn't influenced enough by going to college, unfortunately. I grew up really fast. I got married when I was 18. I bought a house at 18 and a half, had a child
Wow.
at 19. I just really, I really grew up, and I was a single mom for a while. So I feel like a lot of things with my past, uh, in hindsight, because hindsight's 2020, I feel that I became a survivor. I got used to having to survive. I got used to having to always find solutions, and always having to dig. I had to have that grit. I had to be really creative, and I feel like just a lot of things that I've gone through in my life has made me who I am now. As far as when I'm in um, with real estate, the things we go through, I just don't quit.
Yeah. No, I was gonna say, as I've
Happen. I will make it
yeah,
happen. Yeah.
yeah, and as I've interviewed successful people in our business, I
Mhm.
always find that there's usually something that's happened in, early stages of life, not just kids, but like
Right.
career wise or things like that, always come back and lead to, an influence into their real estate business. And so I'm sure we'll touch on that in a little bit, but
Yeah.
so, graduation, getting, married, buy a house, working into the workforce. Can you kind of walk me through a couple of those years as far as, some of the jobs you did or career that you had?
Yeah. So as far as jobs that I had, I ended up working downtown. I had different jobs like at Borden, and then I was finally at Anderson Consulting. Uh, that is now Accenture.
Okay.
But I worked there. I had managers that I worked for, a couple partners in the as well, and average age was 33. It was actually a really cool environment, um, and I really enjoyed working downtown. But then had a child, got pregnant with my daughter, and had every intention of going back to work. I loved it there. We never discussed me not going back to work. But once I was home with her, and I had a new house and stuff, I decided to actually stay home. I was a stay home mom, and I did it, and I for 10 years, but I did babysitting. So I actually provided childcare for a huge group of kids for 10 years, so
Wow.
that I could have that extra income, claimed it on taxes, operated it as a business. And the funny thing is I had the same kids from like bottles to latchkey, like after school. Okay.
Yeah.
And they were family. And some of these children have actually bought, sold, bought. They become their clients too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Talk to me about the daycare at home.
Mhm.
Was And it probably wasn't by design, but running a business, I mean, were you always kind of like an entrepreneur? Were you always looking for, that side of things, or was it just like, hey, I'm staying at home, how can I
You know,
make some extra money?
yeah, I wish I could say yes, but the truth of the matter is, I wanted to be home. I wanted to raise her. We needed that income that we were depending on, because we didn't anticipate this to happen. If we
Yeah.
want to be home with her, so I had to match my income. It was a brand new neighborhood. Put it in, ad in the paper, and it just really exploded. It exploded, and I was able to pick and choose who I wanted. And really, I didn't have a lot of turnover. I had the same kids for for small children. They couldn't even talk, still in diapers,
Yeah.
to third, fourth, fifth grade. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, maybe
That's
not
awesome.
fifth grade, but like, yeah, after school.
Yeah. So you
Yeah,
did that for, you said, 10 years?
I did. I
Okay.
did. And so I didn't want to keep doing that. I wanted out. So it came to where I was, what do I do? Like I was having an identity crisis, and I was soul searching. Who am I? And we bought this investment property in '06. We bought an investment property, and here's what happened. I spent a lot of time at this house fixing it up, and I met somebody when it was time we were going to do a lease option, and met this person who was interested, lease it for the first couple, 2-3 years, whatever, and then eventually purchase it. And her name was Sonia. Met her there, and I'm showing her all the things, because you're replacing all the things that were replaced. And she thought that I was a realtor. And when I told her that, no, I own the house, I'm not a realtor. Shelley, what do you mean, girl? What do you mean you're not a realtor? Her reaction, she really could not believe that I was not a realtor. And she doesn't know. Well, no, she does know. She didn't know it at the time. But she's who changed my life.
Wow.
She put this thing in my head, and I started thinking about it, and I kept thinking about it. And one thing led to another. And I ended up going to Hondros.
Wow.
Yeah.
And she was just someone looking to lease it out and potentially buy it. She wasn't an agent herself.
She was not an agent. She
Wow.
ended up living there for a year, and then she ended up moving. But we had a great relationship. We still keep in touch. So she knows the story now. And I was on the cover of Real Producers last July, and made sure she had a copy. And I said, "Well, thanks to you."
Yeah, you just never know. Idea. Yeah, you never know who you're going to connect with, and who can change and impact your life, right? And that's just a conversation.
You just don't know what somebody's going through. She had no idea, and I feel forever grateful for her to put that, to give me that idea, because it really made sense. And I was supported by family and friends. I was supported. People thought my personality, it was a perfect match with my personality.
So when you made that decision to go into real estate, you didn't really have, did you have interest in it from a sales standpoint, or was it just like, okay, I have this investment property, we're kind of going that direction, or was it just this one conversation that was just like, that's it, that's what I'm going to go and do?
I love meeting people. You always meet some people that, but all in all, I do love people. I love homes. I love working on homes. I love decorating, home decor. So, and I just really, I've had a lot of people help me in my life, and it's really like a pay forward kind of thing. I feel anything I can do to help change someone else's life, it brings me a lot of joy to make things happen for people. It's a home. It's not, we're not dealing with electronic gadgets or something like that. It's something so meaningful.
Yeah. I have grown immensely in that mindset. When I got into the business, I was young and, just cocky, right? Not really wise in my years. And Jared, who's on our team still, he would always say, we're changing people's lives. And I'd be like, yeah, we are, and just kind of like not blow it off, but, just kind of brush it to the side. And, over the last 4 or 5 years, it's that impact, right? And really looking at real estate, owning real estate and selling real estate can really change a lot of families. And I think as I've gotten older, just realizing, what that impact could be.
Yeah, we literally have people's lives in our hands. That's how I look at it.
Yeah. Even like to this day, when I got in 2011, obviously we're trying to help people navigate, the downturn and, getting out of foreclosure, coming out of short sales or, bankruptcies and, things like that. And now to today, it's like, man, you have all of this equity in your home. How can you maximize those things and take advantage of those things to really kind of take your, your wealth or whatever to the next stages for your family? And, I think about that. I think about that a lot, and, how clients can take that money and buy, 1 or 2 investment properties now and grow that. So.
And those who didn't are really regretting it.
Yes, that is true. So,
Mhm.
Shelley, when you decided to get into real estate, were you still doing the babysitting and stuff
Nope.
on the side, or was it just like
It was done.
that's
I
it?
was done. I was done. Yeah. Oh my gosh. Do you know what? This was not planned. Oh my gosh, I can't even believe this. So the last check, my last week of babysitting, I knew I was going to be done after all this time. I mean, this was my life. And
Yeah.
I treated myself to a ring from Tiffany's, right? Just this ring.
Oh
Yeah.
wow,
It's still, yes, yes. Um,
that's awesome.
yeah, I know, right? So it's just this mesh ring that is a staple. With Tiffany's, but that was what I bought myself, since that was the end of my own having my own money. Uh, yeah, and that was back. So that would have been 2007 was
So you
when
got in. You got
I got in
in.
07.
Okay. Walk me. When you got in, I know you mentioned that you had a lot of family support.
Mhm.
Um, did you have any doubters?
I didn't. I really didn't. I did not. Everybody that knew me, cared about me, loves me, felt that. Well, of course, it made sense that it just it matched my personality
Yeah.
and who
Yeah.
I am, and who I am. So I when I became a realtor, I joined under another agent. I was a licensed assistant.
Okay.
Um, I thought, yeah, I went that route. She was my safety net, kind of learned the ropes. Thought I would maybe for like a year, and then I would, go out on my own. But 1 year ended up being 4 years. So,
What
yeah,
was
I
was
believe in
joining
Christ.
that agent by design? Like, did you know that you were wanting that support, or was it kind of like proposed to you by someone else?
I did, because my husband at the time, he went to high school with her, and she had been a realtor for a few years. She knew that I was that I was interested going to Hondros, and so she wanted to be in touch with me, and it was, yeah. So I met her through him, and yeah, stayed with her in the HER Bexley office from '07 to 11. Hmm.
And what made you kind of decide that it was time for you to kind of go out on your
So
own?
during the time I was with her, 2007 and 8, and all right, there was like a lot of foreclosures, right? A lot of
Right.
foreclosures, short sales. Well, fortunately, in my office there were two agents. They only dealt with REOs. They only listed. They were listing agents for bank properties. That's all they did. They did not work with buyers. So when they would get their leads, phone calls or anything, they would write name, number, and they
Yeah.
would hand it to me, and we would do a referral fee. I would, by the time I paid her and gave them a referral fee, I got what was left over. But I'll tell you what, that both of these people, yeah, they really helped grow my business, because it's the domino effect. Like the people that I helped during that time, just what led into one thing after another with these clients that I had. One of which led into, because of one of the leads that they gave me. Uh, it ended up being it led me to bank business, where I became a bank from in Cincinnati. I became their go-to. Well, this was after I went on my own.
Yeah.
During that 4 years, I kept people, I was hearing, you need to go out on your own. You don't need to be working under another agent. Uh, but it was fear, right? We
Yeah.
let fear get in the way. And I
Yeah.
did that for a very long time. Well, I could have made the change
But
much earlier, but I did it.
yeah, and you had the support, right? You had the the security a little bit, but also you had at the time, I'm assuming you were selling from '07 to 11,
Oh
right?
yeah. Oh
Those leads
yeah.
that were coming in.
Oh
Yeah,
yeah.
so then you also had
I did fine.
a funnel, a pipeline for your business. And I always tell agents all the time, I got in with REOs. Ryan my team leading my mentor, we sold off a foreclosure package of 120 properties when I met him.
Okay.
And I always tell people, man, it didn't matter to me. A dollar's a dollar. It didn't matter if it was a $30,000 house or back then,
Mhm.
$150,000 house, right? you
Right.
know, it was, man, how many deals have come from that time period for me over the course of my career?
It's
Insane,
staggering, isn't it?
insane.
It is. It's staggering. So one of these people that was referred to me from one of those agents, they wanted to see a property, and it wasn't on the MLS though. They drove by it, it had the sign. They told me what the name and number was. Well, one thing led to another, and they ended up purchasing this home. Okay, we went in contract. So I got creative, and this guy's name was Greg at the bank, and I called him and I said, "Hey, I'm not actually calling about the house we were working." I said, "Actually, I just want to know, is there anything I can do for you here in the Columbus market? Do you have, if there's anything that I can do to help you sell some real estate here, let me know." Well, he did. He sent me this this apartment building that it was in a bad area. It was so bad, and but I sold it, and one thing led to another, and I ended up being. I mean, they sent me all kinds of business from it. Yeah, 2000, probably 11 to, I don't know, like 15, 16.
I just, I,
Just
those
because
of us,
I
those
asked
of
for
us,
business.
yeah, yeah. And those of us, I'm just thinking like we've had to have done a deal or something together because those of us that did the REOs, and a lot of them usually it was a tight knit, like you knew who the players were. So
Yes.
we've had to have done something
You get
together
used to the lockbox combinations like OCN or
based off
yeah,
of who the listing agent is. Yes.
yes. Yes. And back
Yes.
in that time, I tell you, we had the sign writers, like you were a rock star if you were putting like a sold in 30 days
Yeah.
on the sign. I still have those sold in 30 days, 60 days, 90 days.
I joke with some of the newer agents that are on our team that I get to talk with on a daily basis.
Yeah.
Well, and people used to make fun of Ryan and I all the time, but we used to have this banner that for an open house, we would do open houses at the foreclosures. And we
Right.
used to have this banner that would say free list of foreclosures, open house, right? And like, that was our marketing way to get people to come into the door. And we were holding them
Give
in
them
these
something of value.
we were holding them in these dumpy properties, but investors was what we cut our teeth on back then.
That's
So
right. That's right. Yep. And I'll tell you, those investors, they know people. I remember selling, and he's a realtor now, so I hope he sees this. But when he wasn't a real, he bought a property for like, I don't know, it was like 13,000 or something like that, right? Well, like a couple years later, I saw something that reminded me of him. I reached out to him. Anyhow, he ended up giving me a lead that, and I ended up selling a property in Buckeye Lake
wow.
just by reaching out to him, like as a
Yeah.
contact, just a touch. Um,
Yeah.
uh, you just never know. You just
Right.
never know, like, where you'll get your referrals.
And if you do your job, I always tell people, just build your past client database any way possible. Just build your past client database any way possible, because you just never know what may happen 2 years from now, 5 years from now, 7 years from now, whoever they may
So
introduce
true.
you to.
Mhm.
And that was just a way for me to kind of get started. So, Shelley, walk me up through, 2011. You decide to go on your own, or did you go to a team? Kind of what was the next steps?
Nope, I went solo. Went solo, and then in 12 at HER, I was invited to be a partner agent in 2012, and really just sold a lot of real estate. 2012 and 13. Well, 13 is actually when, oh gosh, so uh, Steve, remember I met him in back, we dated back in high school. Uh, he was coming up here for something for his brother. I haven't seen Steve like in forever, right? And anyhow, we saw each other, and we just haven't been apart ever since. So
Wow.
he ended up moving. Oh, he was in Tampa, by the way. So December of 13, he ended up moving back here so we could be together. And so now we're together. He became licensed in 15, and he's my my right arm. I just cannot say enough about him. It's important when you're doing when you're selling a lot of real estate, when you have a decent amount of production, you just can't do everything yourself.
Yeah. Yeah.
You can, but
well, something has to
really,
something has to sacrifice. Yes, there's going to be a slip in something if you try to do it all yourself, and you can't be great at everything. I don't care what it is. You can't be great at everything. There's something that you can
Oh,
need help with. So
right. And these things, free you up so you can sell.
yeah.
Be
Well,
out
so you can do what you're best at, right? That's the whole goal. So you can focus on what you're best at. So Shelley, from the very beginning, did you always have like success, or, were there the struggles, from '07 to 11, 2011 to, 13, 14, 15? Was it always just kind of, I'm going to figure it out and make it happen, and we're rocking and rolling, or do you have any of those lumps?
So I feel like every year my sales, my sales grew every year. I didn't have, uh, all things considered, really didn't have a bad year. Um, I guess, it was just, things go south,
Sure.
something that I have learned is, when you get in these situations when you're working a deal and it's just awful, like everything's going wrong, or you have a difficult client, just somebody who does not appreciate you, you feel totally beaten up, drained. I feel like uh, it's education. It's good experience. It makes you stronger. I feel like looking back, I feel like all of those tough deals that I had has really made me a really strong agent, and knowing how to handle people, and um, and help me find solutions, and stay calm. And you know there's also difficult agents, sometimes that we unfortunately we encounter, uh, but as I really haven't had setbacks, but I've had just like anybody
Yeah.
else, just deals that have been a struggle to get to closing. Yeah.
And have you always just built your business just sphere of influence and, just relationship based?
Pretty much. Most of my business right now is, um, yeah, previous clients, repeat business, referrals from
Yeah.
family. My daughter has been sending me a lot of business. She's a NICU nurse, and all these nurses are selling and buying. And I'm going to have to do something kind of special for her, because yeah, she's my
No,
she's been a
no, that's
blessing.
awesome. That's awesome. And I'm assuming, probably a lot of the things that you learned from starting the daycare business, and, like you talked at the very beginning, grit, solution problem, you're a solution solver. And
Mhm.
I'm sure that has had great impact into your real estate business.
Absolutely. You in real estate, you just really have to, um, you have to have character, work ethic, authenticity, passion. These are non-negotiable traits that
Yeah.
that you have to have to be successful and reputable.
Yeah.
You know.
And the passion is a big one, I think, and probably doesn't get spoken about too much. I don't really talk about it too much, but just as you were saying it, you know, real estate can be a grind. Sales, real estate, whatever, can be a grind, and it's not always going to be the highs that we always see on social media and, all the other stuff. But if you don't have a passion for either serving clients or helping them with real estate or real estate in general,
Hmm.
it's probably going to, real estate's probably going to eat you up and spit you out, and that's kind of where I've personally made my kind of pivot a little bit in the real estate space, is, from helping buyers and sellers to now my passion's more helping other real estate agents obtain the success that they want to achieve.
Isn't that a great feeling when you know that you're doing things to help other people, and I feel it's your legacy. It's, people will remember that.
Yeah.
It's true. They will remember, how you made them feel and what you did for them. And that's the kind of person I want to be too. Just, and remember, people, other agents, when they're new, we know they're new, do something to help them out. I'll never forget the first person that I worked with, Vanessa Simmons, coldwellbanker now. She made me feel, um, she was just so helpful, and I will always respect her for that. Uh, and that's how I want to be. I love it when someone tells me that they're new, or I find out that they're new, because I want to do something that will make a difference with their career. It's the gift of giving.
Yeah. I mean, you're right. Legacy, impact, and going back to what Jared would always tell me about our clients is changing lives, right? You know, we can change the lives of our clients and we can change the lives of each other, as far as a real estate agent profession goes, agent to agent wise. So
Yeah, we can be friendly competitors.
yeah. Yeah.
It's
We've done a lot of transactions over the years since 2007 and 2011. And again, this is really the first time that we're really connecting on a deep level, and we've probably never really competed against one another,
no.
and we were talking, before recording this about just different ways that you can probably look at adding some things to your business that we're doing, that to help you
Right.
get to that next level of where you want to get to.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So lead me up to present day, real estate present day. 2013, you met Steve. 2015, he gets licensed. Kind of what's been the last, 6, 7, 8 years been like?
Really just, it's just been growing a business that, I'm really proud of. These are people that have, we call them clients, but they feel like more like friends.
Yeah.
Gosh, we've taken, trips to go. We've actually taken trips to go see people that we've helped in the past. But the last few years has just been, um, just really growing the business and trying to do better than we did the previous year. Uh, Touching more lives, trying to make a difference, and all the and contributing to, um, just contributing as much as we can.
Yeah.
Uh,
No, that's awesome. I
and
want to kind of pivot towards future, and
yes,
what does that look like? What's something that you're really looking to accomplish over the next 12 months or so?
so I
Business wise, personal, whatever you want to share.
So we just purchased an investment, well, a property. It's in Bexley, and in a year, I just want to be done with this thing. It's hard to find contractors. It's hard to, uh, I'm going through a phase right now where it's just trying to get this property, up and running. And really, I want to do more. I would like to have more properties. And I know that you have some experience here, John. Uh, but having just building a portfolio and having,
Yeah.
being prepared for retirement and having that income coming in.
Are you looking to buy and hold then? Is that kind of the game plan?
Yes, buy and hold.
Yeah.
There
I
might be
always
other, but I'm more particular about buy and hold.
yeah, I always tell people I think that's a personality. The type of investor you are is kind of like a personality. I
Mhm.
think we all at some point need the buy and hold, just for income and tax reasons. But man, buying and holding does not excite me at all.
I tell you, I made mistakes, man. I think about these deals that I had, these homes that I had that off market that I could have kept for myself. But I had a buyer
We
and a
didn't.
matchmaker and, feel like a hero, right? But in hindsight, gosh, I
Maybe
might have messed up a little. But
maybe one day what I'll do is I'll put a happy hour together of all of the REO agents from
uh-huh.
back in the day. We all can just have a couple of drinks over our sorrows of missed opportunities back then.
Isn't that the truth? Oh,
Yeah, the amount of real estate that we knew about back then that the public didn't know about, that,
I'm glad
we
it's not
because of
just
the
me. Yeah.
no, no. You know how many people I talk to that are like, "Oh yeah, bank portfolio, hundreds and hundreds," and there's agents doing more than we did, and the amount of real estate back then that I wish I was just getting into the business. I wish I knew more about real estate.
We could have literally just bought them and boarded them and paid taxes and just hold on to them. Uh,
Yeah,
Who
it's
knew?
it's it's sickening,
It,
but I always say I'm ready for the next one.
mhm.
I'll know for the future, learning from your mistakes, right?
Right, right. So no, but I think in the next year, I really need somebody else just to help with social media. Uh, if I could have somebody, and I know we talked about that, we'll talk again, but um, having somebody like that, I think would be a game changer for me.
Yeah.
Mhm.
No, we'll get you connected with some virtual assistants, and I promise they're going to um, take a lot off of your shoulders. No matter whatever phase of your business that you want them to take over, there'll be a huge relief. So we'll get you
I'm
connected with
really
them.
excited about that.
I'll
Yeah,
walk you through some of that process and some of our pain points.
yeah, yes.
5 years. You have any big 5-year plans? Any
Uh,
5-year accomplishments?
5 years. When you ask me that, I wanted so much to say something about business. Where I want to be with business.
Yeah.
But that's really not what I'm thinking. I want to travel. I want to travel more. I want to go some really cool places because here's what I do know is, we're and I'm older, okay, but we are getting older, and I've learned through my brother, who we do not have anymore. He's not with us anymore, and he waited to do a lot of things, and I want to be able to do things. I want to be able to travel before I have to make decisions. Well, I can't go there because of this ailment, or this hurts, or that hurts, or to be limited on where I can travel because of maybe whatever. Okay.
Yeah.
While we're able to, this is the only life we have. So
Yeah.
work so hard, and it's some of these places, they're life changing. I went to Italy earlier this year, and I think about it all the time. It's just amazing what else is out there in this world, and it's just a shame to just just to stay
Yeah.
right here. We need to explore and go see, because there's so much to learn, and
Yep.
yeah,
It's one of the things, that I got to learn, thankfully, through my mentor,
yeah,
Ryan. He taught me when I got into the business, life first, work second. Obviously, we're going to work hard, but we're going to play hard.
play
Um,
harder. It's work hard, play harder.
yeah, exactly, exactly. And it's one of those things too. Like to your point, most people get into the business because they either want more money, more time, time freedom, right, or more flexibility.
Yeah.
And a lot of times you can have all three,
Hmm.
but a lot of times, agents get caught up on just the more money part.
Oh man.
Well, if you go after the more money and you don't set it up the right way, you're not going to have the time freedom and you're not going to have flexibility. And if you have flexibility or time, sometimes you don't have the money, right? But you can have all three, but you have to be able to set it up. And I'm right there with you.
Yeah.
I grew up traveling a little bit, camping and doing all of those things.
Okay.
And, I got into the business to learn real estate. But what I found is it gave me a lifestyle that I wanted to live.
Hmm.
And I talk to agents all the time about that. It's like, I don't care about the income goal. I don't care about the transaction goal. Tell me your lifestyle that you want to live, and then I'll tell you what you need to do to get there.
That is so important, because in life it is about the memories and how you lived your life. We need our career is very important, but it's really, in the big scheme of life, it is family and your people that you love, and things that you places that you get to go and explore. Just really enjoy this life that we've been given.
Yeah. Now I
Hmm.
have to ask, what's the next place on the bucket list then? Because
Oh,
Italy's one of those for me. Um, Funny story, real quick. In
what?
college, I did all of the easy classes in my, I always say my degree as a joke, but one of the classes was a history of Venice class. So ever since,
Oh,
so taking that class, I want to get over to Italy. But what's next on your bucket list?
well, you know what? Actually, funny enough, it's Northern Italy. So I did the Amalfi Coast and went over to, well, here is Capri, but it's actually Capri. Then we went down to Sicily and Malta. So, it was all of southern Italy. So there is a trip next July that is northern Italy, all the places that you're mentioning. So that would be next year. But I also want to incorporate, I really want to go to Greece.
Yeah.
And gosh, I'd love to go to Tahiti and Bora Bora. um, so, but yeah, I just want to,
love it.
I do want to go back I want to explore Europe.
I love it. No, that's awesome. I'm right there with you.
I want
Traveling.
to finish off Italy. I got to
Yeah.
finish off Italy. It's beautiful.
Is it?
Oh gosh, absolutely. Yeah, it really, everywhere you look, as one of my friends says, everywhere you look, it's just beauty. The pictures don't do justice. People are friendly, so friendly.
Oh no, that's awesome.
Yeah.
That's awesome. I was jealous when I saw you were going there.
Oh, yeah.
Shelley, I want to be respectful.
You can do this, John.
Oh, it's gonna happen for sure. It's gonna
Mhm.
happen for sure. Again, for me, real estate provided the lifestyle that I want to get, and what's important to me is 4 to 6 trips a year. I don't care if it's a
Yes.
weekend getaway or even if it's a conference to a different state. Like, I'm fine with blending in work with some of the trips, but I want the freedom and flexibility of this and enjoying, what I'm working hard for and enjoying
That's,
it while I do it.
I
So,
was going to say, that's what you work so hard for.
well, most people always think I'm a big Gary V follower, and most people always think in the or scenario, right?
Right?
And there's always the and. You can have both, right? You can work hard and save money and go on trips, and there's ways to do it. Now, you may have to give up something else, like we were talking about, trying to be good in all phases. There might be some other sacrifices or things that you're going to have to change if you want it all, but
Hmm.
it's definitely possible.
Yeah. And if you really want it enough, I mean, people will find, they'll find a way to there is a way to do it. Again,
Right.
this problem solver coming out in me, but they're just, you have to just figure it out.
Yeah.
It's so easy to put it off one of these days, but I'm telling you, sometimes
Well,
one of these days it doesn't happen. You don't get it.
yeah, and even back to, the real estate side, right? You want to help more clients. Well, as a solo individual person, you're tapped out at a certain number. So the other option is build a team, right? Or build a support system that allows you to, handle more clients. Now, if you go team agent route, you may not be getting as much on every single transaction, but guess what? Now you've just been able to open your network a little bit more and
Mhm.
bring more people in. Or,
Yep.
maybe you go more of the support side team, where you're paying for more virtual assistants or admins or whatever, but they're taking a lot of the other responsibilities off your plate. So now you can meet more people
Exactly.
face to face.
Exactly.
Doesn't matter which way, it's what model works for you, but you can have it all, right? You just have to set it up the right way.
Yep. And this is why it's important to have the right people around you too. Surround
Yeah.
yourself around those like-minded people to learn from and help each other grow. I think it's really important because if you don't, you're holding yourself back. You really need to
Yeah.
reach out and network and find people that
Think
will
bigger. Yeah.
care.
Think bigger and think differently. You
Right.
know, that's what's helped me. So,
Yes. Yes.
Shelley, I appreciate you coming on. I always end with this one question. And if you could give our audience, one piece of advice that you either wish you had starting out or that you just want to share, to anyone in the real estate space. It doesn't have to be a new agent, anyone that you want to share. What would that piece of advice be?
Gosh. I would say, um, take the DISC test. It's an assessment. It's a behavioral assessment. Do you know about DISC?
Yep.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah. Oh my gosh, Ninja. Okay. I find that so valuable. I feel that it's important for anybody watching this if you don't know what it is. Okay, so DISC. it's a test that you take, and it helps identify your behavioral skills, or just
Yep.
your tendencies. But by learning the behaviors of others, well, it's used to determine like leadership strengths. It's self-awareness, really, for to be able to like understand the people that we're working with, whether it's particularly, I'm speaking of clients. Okay.
Yeah.
So when we meet people, it helps us to figure out like what we think that they are, where they fit in. We already know where we fit in, and learning and understanding, because sometimes things happen, things go south, or there's issues because we're not understanding each other. And by learning their, if you have like an engineer, okay, you know that you need to be more analytical, provide numbers, don't be like blah 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 blah. You have to get to the facts. They don't want all that stuff.
Yeah.
They don't want the pregnancy, they want the birth. They want the weather report. So it's just learning how to adapt ourselves around, just tailor our service around others, and that we know that will benefit them.
No, that's awesome. That is something obviously, when I got into the business, we were at Keller Williams. I took the disc test in the very beginning. I'm an SC, very laid back, but I need some structure. I need to kind of know what the steps are. And once I know kind of what the steps are, then usually I'm good to go. But I kind of got away from, really utilizing that. And then when I just did Ninja and we went through that, it was just like, man, I need to be training agents on this. How important would that be to be able to meet someone and pick up on some of their tendencies based off of how they talk, what they wear, what they're driving, and now I always tell agents, prospect how you want to be prospected, but you need to communicate with people how they want to be communicated with.
Exactly.
And that's the difference, right? Yeah. Like if you're a high D personality, well, you're probably going to make quicker decisions. Let's rock and roll. Let's figure it out. I don't need to do this hour-long consultation. Can I get this done in 15 minutes?
Exactly.
Right. And I think a lot of us, we just miss those opportunities, by not learning. So that is something that I'm going to be diving in a little bit deeper myself.
And I'm learning too. And I really want to master all of this, because there's high D, low D. And you don't have to, you can be more than one. You can be a combination of three, and we could be a little bit of everything, a sprinkle of everything. But it's really helpful to, because we want to provide our clients with the best experience.
Yeah.
And it's one of these things that, you can learn how to connect better.
Yeah. No, I love it.
Yeah.
Shelley, thanks so much for coming on and sharing your story and your journey of getting into the business and what you're doing now and where you want to get to. Those that are watching, you can connect with Shelley at her phone number that's down below. If you're a real estate agent and you just want to pick her brain, please reach out to her. If you guys are looking to buy or sell anywhere in Central Ohio and you just loved her story and just connected with her, please reach out to her as well. She's there to help you. But Shelley, for those that are listening in, what's the best phone number for you?
Yeah, feel free to call or text me anytime, 614-579-4635.
Shelley, thanks so much. I had so much fun talking with you today. And if I can ever do anything for you, please let me know.
Definitely. Thank you. I appreciate you, John.
Talk to you soon.
Yeah. Okay. Bye.